all then. Let's start. History of UX writing. So, I'm talking about long ago when people used to use products with user manuals. So then these user manuals were written by writers, and those writers were called just technical writers. So in those days, people won't be able to use the products without using those user manuals. And that's why technical writers were quite used to play an important role in the industry. And as things evolved, our products evolved, the businesses understood that we need to create products that users can use by themselves, and it should not be very complicated. So more simpler products came into market. But where these businesses went wrong, that they thought because now we are having simple or usable products, we don't need technical writers. And that was their mistake. When they found that it is not helping the users, they again had to bring writers into picture. And then marketing came into picture, and then content writers, SEO writers, copywriters, creative writers, all these different kind of writers came in the business. And when digital products came in the market, then UX writers came into picture. So earlier those were called only content writers, but back then they didn't knew that they are also UX writers because they were creating content to make users' lives easy. So, and currently today, these UX writers are also called as content designers because they design the user experiences through language. So, this was a brief history of UX writing. Now, I would like to share a real story with you all, which is of Google. So, earlier in hotel search on Google, they had a content piece that is book a room. And they found that users found it quite committal at the earlier stage, and that's why they found that there was quite less engagement and also attrition and less stickiness on the screen. So their UX writing team changed this small book a room content piece to check availability. So this small change increased 17% user engagement. And why is because Booker Room was committal, but when we are talking about check availability, it gives an impression to users that I'm just checking the availability. I'm not directly going and booking a room. So that fear in users' mind disappeared by this change of small two words. So this is the power of UX writing. Now let's see what is not UX writing. Creating sales-focused content to attract customers is not UX writing because that is SEO writing or content writing, you can say. UX writing is not creating content to attract customers or to create awareness about the product. That is not the job of UX writers. Another point is adding words in the UI components. Again, is not UX writing. UX writers not only fill words in the UI components or design components or the small empty boxes. That is not the job of UX writers. Third point is writing content after the designs are ready is again not UX writing because then, as already said, it is just filling the empty boxes. So that is not again a UX writing. And if you feel that only reviewing the grammar or sentence framing or creating good content, catchy content, that is also not UX writing. So then what is UX writing? UX writing is building experiences through words. And why we say that is because UX writers, as I shared an example with you, UX writers create experiences for users through strategic and scalable language. Secondly, UX writing is purpose driven writing. Every single content piece drives a purpose. It serves some purpose, it solves some user problem. Third is UX writing acts as a bridge between user and the product. And it makes users feel that they are not communicating with a product but with a human. Next is UX writing is co-designing experiences with strategic and scalable language. Why we say co-designing is because when UX designers design the wireframes or lo-fi screens, hi-fi screens at the same time, UX writers or content designers design the experiences through language. That's why it is called as co-designing experiences. UX writing is also communicating the brand voice and tone. So, UX writing gives a personality to a product through the brand voice and tone. You feel like as if you're talking to a person rather than to a product. And that's how UX writing helps. Next is UX writing is making digital interfaces easy to use. When users come on any app or any platform, if they find it very difficult to use or to the journey or go to the next screens, then UX writing needs to come into picture because it make all those platforms, applications easy for users to use and guide them throughout the journey. And last but not the least is UX writing is satisfying user needs, answering user questions and building empathy. Because every single content piece on any platform, it helps users to solve their problems and to satisfy their needs. Users have multiple questions on any platform. If the UX copy or micro copy guides them properly, their questions are answered then and there. And also, a good micro copy builds empathy with users. They understand users, their mindset when they're performing certain tasks. Now, let's see what are the 5 C's of UX writing. So, first is clear. So it is very important that any microcopy or content piece should be very clear, which is easy to understand. Users shouldn't have to read it twice to understand. It should be like in one go, they should understand what the microcopy is conveying, what message it is conveying clearly. Second C is concise. Because on platforms or applications, there is less real estate. So it is again very important that the microcopy is very concise. It conveys large messages but in very few words. Third C is constructive. As I said, every microcopy serves a purpose. It needs to be constructive. It should solve some users' problems or guide users. It should serve some purpose. That's how it can be constructive. Fourth C is conversational. So microcopy helps users to connect the users with the products by making the product more conversational or interactive. Users should feel that I'm interacting with a person rather than just using any product. And that's what UX writing does to any platform. And last but not the least is consistent. It is very important that the microcopy is consistent throughout the products. Because, for example, if I'm talking to you in a certain voice and tone right now, and after in 5 minutes, I'm talking in some different tone, maybe in anger or anxious tone, you will get confused, like, right? Like, what happened? She was talking in a certain way, and now what happened? Why she's talking in a different tone? Similarly happens with users if they are using a product. One screen is having certain voice and tone for the content, but the further screens are not consistent in the voice and tone. Users get confused. They don't feel that they are using the same product or they can't relate to the product. That is why it is very important that microcopy follows all these 5 C's. Now, you must have this question that what exactly do UX writers do then? So these are a few tasks of a UX writer. So they work on this kind of task like navigation tips, pop-up help messages, or in any form, if you see there are form filling instructions, hints, tool tips, error messages, success and failure messages, there is button text, placeholders, confirmation pop-ups, service screen messages, there are notifications, loading screen messages, titles and taglines, or call to action messages. So any content that you see on any platform or any application is designed by a UX writer. But that is not only responsibility of a UX writer. They wear many hats. So let's see what are the responsibilities of a UX writer. First is to educate the team about UX writing. Yes, we have to do that because in some organizations, still in some organizations, I would say, there are no UX writers, or some organizations are hiring UX writers now. That's why the design team, the product managers, or the development team, they're not used to working with UX writers. And that's why it also becomes one of an important responsibilities of a UX writer to educate the about UX writing, what it is, how it impacts, what value it adds to the team, to the product, and to the business as a whole. Second responsibility is user research and competitive analysis. So yeah, use UX writers contribute to user research and competitive analysis as well, along with the product designers or user researchers. So in some companies there are user researchers, some companies don't have. In that case, the UX writers and UX designers together do the research, if possible talk to users, see what the competitors are doing, how they are performing for certain feature. Based on that, they come up with the findings, they collaborate with each other, and then design the journeys. Next responsibility is collaboration with stakeholders, because a UX writer works with many people, and the most important team members or stakeholders that UX writers work with are UX designers, product managers, and design engineers, and also user researchers. Because right from the beginning, from user research to usability testing, UX writers collaborate with all the stakeholders. Another responsibility is ideation and brainstorming. So, when any requirement or any problem comes to the team, to the UX writer and UX designer, after understanding the problem or agreeing to the problem, first they, after doing the user research, they do the ideation and brainstorming sessions, or in some companies there are ideation workshops for a week or so with different teams, because from that we can come up with 2 to 3 concepts or solution for those problems, and then decide the best possible solution. So this is also one of the important responsibilities of a UX writer. Next is creating micro interactions that we already saw. The micro interactions means all the tasks that we saw, right from notifications, CTA texts, success error messages, failure messages, all those micro interactions through which the product interacts with users. Those are also created by a UX writer. Next is educating users. How? Through user guides, through tutorials, best practices, or you must have seen when any new user is onboarded on any platform, there are coach marks. So, through all these different ways, UX writers also educate their users about the product. Next responsibility is contribute to the user persona and user flow. Yes, UX writer do this collaboratively with the UX designer. They define the user persona, or if they already know their users, they design the user journey, they identify the use cases in the entire journey, and then decide the user flow together. Another important responsibility is reflect brand voice and tone. As I said, UX writer gives a personality to the product. And so the micro copy that UX writers create, it needs to reflect the brand voice and tone. After reading the copy, users should clearly and quickly understand that uh, this copy belongs to so and so product. So that is also one of the important responsibility, that it gives a unique personality to the product. Another responsibility is considering accessibility and inclusivity. So, when we are working on global products, those are used in different countries, it is very important that we need to be sensitive to different cultures. So, the content that we design needs to be accessible to different people, different users from different genders, ages, to different abilities. And so the content needs to be inclusive and accessible. That is also one of the important responsibilities of a UX writer. And that's when they also consider localization, because the content that they write may get translated in different languages for different countries. So while designing the content, we need to understand how many characters should be there, because when they get translated to different languages, they should fit in that real estate. So understanding the localization, also the terminologies that we are using For example, in English, you must have seen many error messages starting with oops, but that is actually not a very good practice because oops is an expression in English. But if you translate in some other language, say Spanish, French, that won't work. So, a UX writer also needs to think about localization. Another important responsibility of a UX writer is contributing to user testing. So when the prototype is ready, the content is ready, after that they also contribute to user testing along with the user researchers, product manager and product designer, because they also need to understand how users are perceiving their content. Based on that, they can iterate and make it more relevant. And last but very important responsibility of a UX writer is creating a content design system and content style guide. Because when we have a content style guide, we have consistency or uniformity throughout the product related to content. And that's why content style guides are designed by UX writers. And very new but important system, that is content design system, which is integrated with design system, is created by UX writers. Not all organizations have that, but almost large organizations all have this content design system, in which there are already content patterns are established, and it also helps the entire team that when the patterns are established, the product designers or developers don't have to rely on UX writers for even small content pieces, and content designers can focus on large chunks or some critical aspects of content design. That's why content design systems are created by UX writers. So these are the responsibilities of a UX writer. Now, I think it must be clear to you that UX writers not only write the content but contribute to so many aspects of the entire process. Now, what is the impact of not having a UX writer? Still today, there are some companies that they don't have a UX writer, and they force or rely on their UX designers to create the content. But sadly, it is not their job because they are not trained to do that. And when you don't have a UX writer in your team, this is the impact that you will see with your product, which is increase in dropout rates. So you will see users, because they don't understand the content, even if the design is fabulous, but if the content is not guiding users properly, you will see increase in dropout rates. Similarly, there'll be less stickiness. Users won't stick or stay on the screens for a longer time because they may get confused. They may not understand what they need to do. And this is the impact of another impact of not having a UX writer. Next is less to negligible repeat customers. Yes, as a user, you only think if you have used any application and if you find it difficult to use, you don't understand the content, if it is complicated or too content heavy, lengthy content pieces, you won't feel again to go and use that application. So of course, in these cases, there is less or negligible repeat customers. Another impact is product not empathizing with users. Yes, so when product doesn't understand users, it doesn't empathize with them, with their emotions. When they're using any platform or any product, it also creates a huge bad impact on users because it stirs some negative emotions among them. Like, for example, if as a user, I'm doing something and suddenly an error message is thrown to me, but if that error message is not clearly conveying what has happened, why has happened, whether it is my mistake or your mistake, and what I need to do, it is going to irritate me as a user. And that irritation, annoying feeling, all these negative emotions, disappointment, rise in users. Another impact of not having a UX writer is unclear, confusing, and misguided product. So when the microcopy on the product is not clear, it will confuse users. And also it will not guide users through the product properly. So these are few impacts of not having a writer. Now I would like to ask you guys, if among these two to sign up, which service would you prefer? Please pick up because I can't see the chat here when I'm sharing my screen. So I want to make it interactive, guys. So please pick up. I don't want to just I'm talking and you are listening. I don't want that scene here. Let me know which service would you prefer to sign up for.
Uh,
Anybody? Yes.
yeah, I think the second one maybe because it's a little bit less hectic. I just need to sign up with my mobile.
Right. Right. So you can see here, if the left screen, the content is also very simple. But on the right screen, the screen is not content heavy. So just having simple or clear content is not enough. It should also be crisper. So when there are gets to have less clicks and they can just finish the task in less time, they would prefer to use those kind of platforms. So that is also one of the important responsibility of a UX writer, to reduce the clicks for users and to make it easy for them or guide them through the journey. Now,
Excuse me,
this is,
Supriya.
yeah, yeah, sure.
Uh, s- uh, so, uh, but if in case if you don't want to give mobile phones and all so I feel there should be like a one more option for like an email ID, like
Yes, yes,
like
some platforms have that, either email or mobile number. Yes, some platforms have that, and as you said, some users won't prefer to use mobile number, but either email ID. So this is again one thing that UX writers need to consider, that some users might be hesitant to share their mobile number as well. Anyone else has any question? All right. So this is a very great design. If you'll see, all good color palette, the icons are proper, and it is very easy to, for eyes, it is very pleasant. But this is a design without copy. So this is just a decoration. Users won't understand what they exactly need to do on the screens. But when the content enters, here it is very clear for them what they need to do, and it guides users to perform their tasks. Here is another example. If on the first screen you will see, again, very beautiful colors, all right icons, placement, everything is perfect, but it is of no use. Similarly, only content, it is also of no use. So only design or only content doesn't give great experiences. When they come together, it creates a great user experience, and that's why it is said co-designing experiences is the key. Now, why UX writing is important? First of all, to clarify the uncertainties during the product experience, because when users are using any product, many doubts might come on in their mind, or there may be some uncertainties, and so it is very important that the microcopy clarifies their doubts through the content. Another one is to empathize with users during every step. So when we are using different kind of products, our feelings, our emotions, or our mindset is different. For example, when you are doing money transfer, you have a different mindset, but when you are using Instagram, you have a different mindset. So, as UX writer, we need to understand that mindset and empathize with users during all of these steps. And so write the microcopy in a way that empathize with users, that understand them, that make them feel that yeah, we understand, we know you, and we are here to help you. Another important point of UX writing is to humanize a product. As I said, it gives a personality to the product. It makes users feel that they are not interacting with the product but with a human. So that is why UX writing is important. Um, Another important point is to drive engagement and increase company's bottom line. So this is business purpose, but yes, UX writing serves this purpose as well. When a good micro copy is there on any product, it drives engagement, it engages users, it improves the repeat customers, and at the end it increases or boosts the revenue of the company. Next is UX writing is also important to follow a user centric approach. Uh, when a microcopy understands users and it is created considering users at the center, when the approach is like that, it helps users or guides users through the product. Another important business point is it also drives conversions. So, as we saw an example of that Google at the beginning, how it drives conversions. So it actually happens, and there are many examples that small content pieces have improved the conversions or boosted the revenue of company through UX writing. And last important point is to create a product that is accessible to all kinds of users from different ages, different genders, and different abilities. Now let's see what are the myths and facts about UX writers. So, first myth is UX writers spend all day writing. Mhm. No, they don't do that. They do lot many things that we already discussed. What are the responsibilities? Right from user testing, user research to brainstorming, designing user flow, content audit, and much more. Another myth is fewer words means less time. Yes, usually it happens that the stakeholders feel that it is just two words. So you can just give this content in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour. But no, good and impactful copy takes time. That is a fact. Another myth is UX designers can and should be able to write UX copy. But no, I know some companies make designers do that, but it is not fair because they are not trained to do that. And so they are not able to write a good microcopy. The fact is, design team needs a dedicated word person, that is a UX writer, to create an impact. Another myth is all writers can write UX content. Again, no. There are different kind of writers. As we talked about, technical writers, they work on technical documentation specifically, like API documentation or some kind of product manuals. So those are technical writers. Then there are content writers, creative writers, SEO writers. So these people work in different domains for marketing, for attracting customers, for social media. But UX writing needs a specific skill set. Writers needs a specific skill set, so they can't write UX content. Similarly, UX writing needs a specific skill set. They, excuse me, can you mute yourself? Thank you. So the specific skill set that we were talking about for UX writing is clarity, consistency, and simplicity, because we need to convey large messages in just few words, and that needs a skill. Another myth is we don't need a UX writer until designs are ready. So earlier it used to happen with in design teams that designers used to create the designs and then used to tell the UX writers that okay, we need this is a snack bar, we need a message over here, or this is the button text, we need a button text here. That's all. But that is again a myth. You need a UX writer from the beginning, right from the kickoff discussion, brainstorming, ideation, user research, user testing. In every single step, you need a UX writer because content and design together can create experiences, alone, they can't. So, I have a small activity for you all now. So, this is a problem. So, a user has transferred money from a retail location, okay, from a shop, for example, and now he or she, let's say he wants to track his transfer, whether he's a senior citizen, he wants to track whether his money is received to the receiver or not. So for that he will come to this page to track a transfer, click on I am the sender, and when he reads this, to track a transfer, enter your 10 digits tracking number, that is MTCN. He doesn't know where to find this MTCN, or he knows what is MTCN because it is very common in US, but he wants to know like where he can find that. Now, I would like you to take 5 minutes, think on this problem, and how would you solve this problem. I would like to give you some limitations that though you can see a lot of space here, You can't use this entire space. So after 5 minutes, you can unmute yourself, and if you have any solutions, please share with us all. If any question, please you can ask.
Ma'am, so what's basically an MTC and where do you probably find this?
So when you transfer money, you get a receipt. So that MTCN number is on that receipt. But user doesn't remember or doesn't know whatever it is. He never reads that receipt. He just takes that receipt. Now he want to track it here. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, we need to
Mm,
solve this, that how he will find, how we can help him through the screen to find that MTCN number.
We can add a helping text about where we can find the.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I
Uh,
didn't follow you. Yeah.
We can have a helping text where you can find the MTC and receipt like that.
Okay. Do you mean tooltip or you mean
Yes,
we can add a content here?
any content.
Okay. Okay. Yes. All right. Any other solution
uh,
anybody has? Yeah.
Supriya, yeah. So for the MTCN number, we can resend resend the code through email, or just mobile number, like in case the user forgets, and then after that, timer and all after for within like 10 seconds or something.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, we can do that. Yes, yes, we can do that if they are using digital platform, but they have sent money through retail location and they have come on this platform only to track a transfer. They don't know much about, because he's a senior citizen. He's not tech savvy, so he can't use the platform. He has done it at the retail location. Now he only can use tracker transfer. That's it. So how we can help him to find this MTCN number?
Suryama.
So I think a small note might be helpful just to tell the person that where the receipt, oh sorry, where the MTCN number is present, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can just give him a note that the, like an info note that MTCN number is present on the receipt, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
Yeah.
maybe maybe we can highlight the receipt, like maybe the place also, like maybe from where he got the receipt, so he can get a clear idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you mean we can enter a note here?
Yes, Ma- m- just a note, max one or two liners,
Mm-hmm.
just giving him a helping tool that the MTCN number is to be found on the receipt, right? Something like
Mm-hmm.
that. I think that will work.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Good one. Any other solution anybody has? We
If
still
the
have 2 minutes. You can think on
sender
it.
if the
Yeah.
sender has registered his phone number to the
Mhm.
local shop, maybe we can provide an option below that if you forgot the MTCN number, you can click on the icon and then you can enter your phone number. Then you can also get your MTCN number.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Yeah, that is also one solution. It is just that they'll have to enter a few things then, like mobile number and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So one few solutions have been put in chat as well. Like if the chat is visible to you, you can check it out.
I mean, when I'm sharing my screen, it is not visible to me right now. But if you can,
Okay,
yeah, share
I'll just read it
Vikas.
out.
Yeah.
Sure, sure. One person says that we can maybe give a dummy MTCN number as well for reference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than giving all zeros in the field. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that zero, actually, it's not zeros, it's the empty state. But yes, so I get an idea what he's trying to say. He's saying that
Mm-hmm.
in the note section we can provide some dummy MTCN number to give the person a generic idea of what is being
Mm-hmm.
talked about.
Yeah, yeah. And about this solution, yes, we can. But he would only understand that this MTCN number is of numerical. But
Hmm.
where to find that, that problem again remains there. Yeah.
Hmm. So another person has said change the existing text to track a transfer, enter your 10-digit tracking number, which is present in place XYZ. Okay, something sort of like
Okay.
I was
Yeah. So,
speaking earlier, like a note.
mm-hmm. Okay. Any other solution?
We
Yeah.
can maybe provide an infographic of the receipt and highlight where on the receipt the MTCN number can be found.
I mean, you mean infographic over here in this empty space?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is also a good idea. Only limitation here is we can't use much of this here. That is the limitation.
Okay, Jayesh says that we can create a simple link saying forgot MTCN, which will help the
Mhm.
user. But yet again, the problem statement is a bit different because we are considering a person who's not a tech savvy person, right? He's at old
Yeah,
age, and this
yeah,
is something we will be getting via receipt, not online transactions. So,
right, right.
it's cool. Although it's fine, Jayesh. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you guys for this great solutions. So what was the solution that was given by the team here? I would like to share with you all. So here it is. We gave a small link. Where can I find MTCN? Again, we can say forgot MTCN or some other content here. But why this? Why this question is because when user comes on this page to track a transfer, the first question that would come to his mind is, okay, I need to enter track MTCN number, but where can I find it? So even writing the micro copy in a way that resonates with the users and it captures what is there in his mind, it helps them to feel more relevant, and that also gives an impression or rise some positive emotions in them, so that is also considered while writing the micro copy. So here the copy says where can I find MTCN. Once user click on it, a pop-up would appear where there is a helping text saying if you sent money at a western location you can find your MTCN on the printed receipt of the transfer. So here it is clear to them that I would find it on the receipt, and once they click OK they would find their receipt, check the MTCN number and enter it. So of course this was the solution given by few of you guys as well. So great. I just wanted to show you the impact of small line, like how it can solve you know because for us it might feel it's a small problem, but for a senior citizen it is a huge problem because he wants to track the transfer but he's not able to when he doesn't know where to find the MTC. So this is how UX writing helps users, I mean all kinds of users. Now I have few tips to write a good microcopy. Some of you may be UX designers, or I don't know if all of you are designers only. But if you work in some companies where you don't have UX writers in your team, so these tips might help you. And even for the UX writers, these tips would be helpful. So the first tip is avoid vague or unclear commands. So sometimes if you would have seen when the microcopy is not clear or the commands are a little vague, it confuses users. Now here in the example, if you'll see, uh, this confirmation pop-up says confirm order, but the CTAs are go back and acquire now. So we don't need to use this kind of jargon. Skip it simple. So avoid this kind of commands. And here when the copy says buy now, it is quite clear. So users would understand it, quickly click on buy now and take the next step. So this is the first tip, that avoid vague or unclear commands. Another tip is avoid generic commands. So you might have seen okay, cancel, yes, no. These are very generic commands. So it is very important that we avoid those and keep those more relevant to the content piece. For example, in this case, when the content says discard unsaved changes, cancel and okay is very confusing whether what I'm going to do once I click okay, because this is not a notification message. When we are just notifying users, then okay makes sense, but here they need to take some action by clicking on the CTA. So the CTA buttons need to be action oriented. And on the right side, if you'll see, it is quite relevant with the question, as if the CTA is answering the question, like discard unsaved changes, discard or cancel. Another tip is avoid double negatives. For example, here, if you see for unsubscribe from newsletter, the CTA says unsubscribe now, but the another one, secondary CTA says, I do not want to unsubscribe. This is quite confusing. So we are using double negatives here, like do not and unsubscribe. So this is not a very good practice. While in another example, if you'll say, it is quite clear, unsubscribe from newsletter, unsubscribe now or cancel. So user would understand after clicking on which button what will happen. Another tip is avoid excessive politeness. You might have seen that people use please a lot in the micro copy, but actually while talking to each other we don't use please to that extent, so it doesn't sound human or personalized. So we don't have to use it always and shouldn't be excessive with that. In this example, users have to agree to the privacy policy. It is mandatory. So using please here is not required. Similarly, sorry shouldn't be used excessively when it is not the platform's mistake. Using it shows that we are always showing users that we are at fault. While in the another example, just removing please is very clear that agree to privacy policy. It also gives an impression they have to. It is a must thing. Another tip is avoid using branding in microcopy because it is too of a show off, which is not required. Like in this case, it is saying about Acme, Acme FAQs, Acme users settings, log out of Acme, because user already know which product they are using. So using this branding words is not a very good practice. Um, Another important tip is always use active voice because it users understand it easily, clearly, and it conveys the message clearly. Now, in this example, if you'll see, account will be upgraded once you have clicked confirm. Some users who are not very fluent in English, they might have to read it twice to understand. But in the right, uh, in this another example, if you'll see the right side one, it is very clear. Click confirm to upgrade account. Clear, easy to understand, conveying the message in few words. And so that is the power of active voice. That's why it is very important that we don't use passive voices in the microcopy. Another
Uh,
one is yes, yes,
Supriya. So for
yeah.
for this active voicing, I think one suggestion it came to my mind for the picture in the in the green tick box design is that so we so ours so like yeah so because do like a question thing because it's much more direct, like confirm to upgrade account uh, question mark, like which is much more like uh, uh, yeah, I mean we can another way of writing it. So I have thought of the copy like confirm to upgrade account question mark, cancel confirm.
Okay, you mean rather than having this, we can have a question here.
Yeah, no, I mean like the click confirm can be rephrased as a question, like
Yeah,
upgrade
yeah. See,
account
yeah, yeah. I understand your
confirm.
point. Yeah. So as per, different brands, different products have their own voice and tone. So even using click is not a very good practice again. But some products use it. So here I'm sharing this example about only active voice, but there are flaws in the right side content as well, I would say. So as you are saying, it is too direct. We can make it more personalized for sure, but every product has its voice and tone and they follow it. But you have a point here. Thank you. Okay, the next tip is use concise language. So if you'll see in this example, video has been downloaded successfully. Again, it's a passive voice, quite lengthy, which while we can make it very concise or crisper, like video downloaded successfully. Also in UX writing, not always grammar is given an importance. That verbs should be used. Sometimes we have the liberty to tweak the grammar considering the real estate. It is just that users should understand, or we should be able to convey the message clearly. That is the goal rather than being always grammatically correct. So in this case, if you see video is downloaded successfully, we are not using is here. Just saying video downloaded successfully is enough to make it concise. So UX writers have this liberty usually. Another tip is use verbs for button commands, because CTA buttons are to take action. So it is very important that they are action oriented rather than just having generic commands like yes, no, okay, cancel. Now in this example, if you'll see confirm order, back and yes, this will confuse users like what exactly I need to do here. But when the content, the CTA text, it resonates and it sounds relevant to the question, it gives a better experience. Like confirm order, yes, confirm, or go back. Again, here you can say no, cancel. I mean, there are other options as well for the secondary button text. But the point here is that the button commands need to be action oriented. Then leading with objective is again important. If in the left side example, you will see to unlock swipe. What we exactly want users to do, the objective is that users should swipe. So we need the microcopy should lead with the objective. Like in the right side example, if you'll see swipe to unlock. So there is a slight difference, but users clearly understand it, and the microcopy leads with objective. It gives them an impression and understanding that what exactly they need to do. So this is another important tip. Another one is try harder to be inclusive. So in this example, the email, I have shown three examples here. Okay. In the first one, if you'll see to enter an email, the placeholder text is very light. Now, users who are having half impairment, visual impairment, or partial visual impairment, or some other things they might have, some might have recently undergone some surgery or anything like that, this is not easier for them to understand or to read. So we need to be inclusive or to resonate our content with all kinds of users. Now the another example is showing a note kind of thing, like example, how you need to write the email. This is again too showy, or it is highlighting a lot rather than other things. So it is again not giving a very good experience. But in the third example, if you'll see showing how to what kind of email you need to enter or how the email is written, we are giving the example, less text, only an example besides the label itself. So here if you'll see the color or uh, the lighting and everything is considered in a way that it is inclusive for all kinds of users. So this is all about accessibility. So, yes, guys, easy reading is damn hard writing. So when you feel that you understand or you use a product very easily, always remember that the UX writers or the UX writing team have worked hard to make it easier for you. So thank you. If you have any questions now, we can come up with the questions, we can discuss those, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
How can we
I have
learn
a
more
question.
about this? Like, I wanna ask, how can we learn more deep? How can we go more deep about?
UX writing?
Yes,
UX about UX writing, I think, right? Okay. So see, there are different ways. First is there are some YouTube channels that you can follow to understand UX writing. Then there are some courses that are available on Coursera, Udemy, or other platforms. Those short basic courses you can take up on LinkedIn and all. Another way is also if you can take a look at the content design systems of big companies like Spotify and all. Intuit, you will get to learn more about UX writing, or how the microcopy is written, what are the guidelines. You can also follow some blogs and articles for that. So there are different ways through which you can learn more about UX writing. And if you want to implement it yourself, you can design for in any content piece you see or any application that you are using. You can design the content, redesign the content for any screen. For example, you were ordering some grocery. So while ordering this grocery, whatever content you saw, if you find any flaws in that, or if you think you can design it better, this practicing also helps you to go deeper into UX writing.
I have a question, Supriya. Hello.
Yes, yes. Tell me.
Yeah, my question is that like once we do once we all do the courses and like you mentioned, so like how do we get about job hunting, because UX writing is nowadays known by a few different names, and companies may find hesitant to hire them because they already use their content writers or UX designers to write the copy for that. And my second question is like how will is it necessary for content like for UX writers to learn to also know about UX design, because some companies they end up using them